But as we get older, we move less or we move wrong or we add strength to more dysfunction and it leads to pain.
Add strength
So,
to more dysfunction. Okay.
so if we can take the dysfunctions away and those compensations are the reason you get the dysfunction. We take those away and you start feeling great. So your back pain goes away. And 8 out of 10 people have back pain nowadays in the US. 8 out of 10 have had back pain. That's a super high number. And a lot of people go to pills or they try to go to physical therapy that helps them a little bit, but they're not sure what's going to make them better.
Welcome to the Rich, Fit, and Happy podcast. I'm Crystal O'Connor, where we want to take you from drab to fab in this beautiful life. Let's go. Hello. Thank you for joining us today. I have a guest. His name is Bobby. I'll get to that in just a second. But this is only the second podcast since I changed the name to Rich, Fit, and Happy. We were Moxie Business Talk for many years, and I've changed it to Rich, Fit, and Happy. Again, I'm just going to reiterate why. Because the more I helped people in their business with Moxie Media Solutions and Moxie Entrepreneur, the more I realized mindset and physical fitness has almost everything to do with what you do in your business and how long you stick with it. But I also just recently have been dabbling, just simply because I'm a woman and have gone through this phase in life that I started noticing that my body was changing in that I couldn't do some of the things that I used to do, started gaining weight without even trying. Not that I don't like chocolate cake. I'm just saying that I couldn't do the same things. I couldn't work out and recover. Okay, so here's why I chose to have Bobby on today. Bobby is the creator of BAM Metrics. Bobby, I'm going to let you tell us and my audience a little bit about why you started this and your background, because you usually work with professional athletes, right?
Yes, yeah, in a bunch of different sports. So
okay, so you have a very high level advanced experience, but you're working with people like me that just want to get down to a size 4 and not carry around an extra 30 pounds. And, we tend to lose muscle. How do we get that back? How can we do it fast and easy at our age, 40-ish?
Well, my story is 30 years ago, I started this business. I graduated from the University of San Francisco with a kinesiology degree. I got out, I got one certification, and that's what I did for a year. And I knew that certification like no other. So I was the expert, right? But the longer I've been in this, the more what you don't know. And there's so much to learn.
Yeah.
But over my 30 years of experience, I've taken from the best trainers out there and coming up with some tools I came up with about 10 years ago. I've made it easier for people to do this stuff on their own at home. And without the tools, they'd be lost. But with the tools that I have, now they know exactly what they need to do. So during COVID, it was awesome because my routine's for home use. So it became great. And a lot of people were using it. And it's super simple because it's metrics based. You can see that your foot's 1 box apart, 2 boxes apart, 3 boxes apart. And for people that are getting older, if you try to strengthen dysfunction, you're going to cause an issue, a knee pain, hip pain, other issues. So when you go, hey, I want to lose weight now, and you start jumping into your fitness routine, most people in time will start complaining, my back hurts. There's some issue that's going on. We sit a lot on computers, people that work on computers. So we're very rounded forward. So the exercises that I teach you, which are all on video, you order the tools, you get the videos, and you just follow the routine. It preps you for moving your body the way it was made to move. And so if you do these simple exercises every day, little things, okay, couple every day, it's like brushing your teeth. You can't do it once a week. You got to mix this stuff into your lifestyle. That's why in corporate wellness, it's so important that people are doing the exercises to help them. So once you start moving well, you can add in strength, which will help you lose weight more because you can run further without knee pain. You could go do whatever you want to do to increase that energy output and burn more calories. It's got to be done properly, and most people go strength and dysfunction. So there's a lot of issues with pain. 80% of people have back pain.
How about knee pain? Let's talk about that, simply because I've noticed it with me and could never really find an expert to tell me what the problem was, because I wanted to run a marathon. And then I realized that it wasn't really like, I didn't want it that bad. You really got to desire something. But every expert I would go to, when I would feel this pain and explain it, what they told me to do was to just don't run.
I know.
So I did eventually lose the desire, but I think I just, with YouTube and everything else, I've kind of gathered a better guesstimate on why it was happening. I think my kneecap is a floating kneecap, and I really needed to build up the muscle over it to hold it stable. What do you think?
It's called the VMO. And there's an exercise you do sitting on the ground against a wall. Put your back up against the wall, legs straight out, turn your foot out 45 degrees. So your quad basically is facing the ceiling. And then you leg lift up and down 15 times, four
And
sets of 15.
that strengthens that muscle to hold the knee stable.
Yeah, and it helps tracking of the kneecap. So as that muscle gets stronger, it'll protect that floatiness you're talking about right now. That's just one exercise. The other thing is, are you stretching your quads? Are you stretching, getting your hip flexor in the right position?
Probably not.
The reason people have pain is one muscle's weak, one muscle's strong, one muscle's short, one muscle's long, and they're all fighting each other. So we have
Yeah.
to get that muscle to move properly. That's mobility, not flexibility. Flexibility is just the length of the muscle, right? Mobility is how that joint moves through range of motion with the proper strength. So it allows it to move through that range of motion. If you don't have the proper strength and there's a length issue, you'll fight it. So that's what causes like, oh, my left knee hurts. There's a reason your left knee hurts. Is it your left hip? Is it your right hip? Is it your ankle? Something's compensating there to cause that issue. Your knee actually isn't the problem. So it's where the pain is isn't the problem. You have to go look other places, and you want to balance out the body. And by doing, like I said, these simple exercises, you're literally like massaging your body. It's like being your own chiropractor. You're putting yourself in the right position so you can go repetitively run 26 miles. Because if you're not in the right position, the compensation is going to say, oh, wow, my knee is killing me right now. Why is that?
Yeah. Yeah. And it would get so bad. And it was mostly after I would run, and I couldn't even step downstairs. I couldn't even step off a curb without intense pain. So it was so inflamed underneath. But yeah, I needed you to tell me this. Isn't it interesting that I went to 5 different people and none of them could help? And really, I think they just didn't want me to continue hurting myself because it was only getting
Well,
worse.
yeah, and then as you get older, it's like you have more compensations, you move less. There's just it's a buildup, and then all of a sudden you go out and say, "Hey, I'm going to lose, 10 pounds for the next 6 weeks," and you go all out, and it's wearing and tearing on the body. So I just get people to start one a day, get started. You can add two, you can add three, but you got to move properly. So one of my favorite exercises is called a wall windmill, where we stand up against the wall. Everything touches the wall. My feet are one box apart, and then I'm going to go side to side. So I'm gliding on the wall, and not moving my arms, but I'm moving my torso. So how often does anybody move side to side? Right? Never. They
Yeah.
rarely do that. So this is getting the spine to open. It's pulling out rotation. It's getting your shoulders from being rounded forward to open up. Many men can't get their fingers on the wall. They can't open their hands where they get the fingers on the wall.
Because
They're so tight through.
they're so
Yeah,
tight
through the
and
connect.
stiff. Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Wow, that's a good one. I'm gonna have to write that down. Okay.
It's called a wall windmill.
Okay.
And then another one you can do right at your desk is like a runner stretch. So yeah, I can show you because you're on video, so you can see
Okay.
this. But you take like a chair and you put it. This is my mat right here. So I know my number is 34. So I'm going to put my feet in a line here, 34. I'm locking out my knees and hips. I'm pushing back on my right foot. And because my feet are in a line, it's like wringing out a towel. Okay. So most of the people, they would do like a hamstring stretch and feel their hamstrings. This is working from the bottom of my foot up into my calf, into my hamstring, into my low back. And it's pulling that out. So
Oh
you
my
hold this for
God.
about 45 seconds. And a beginner, somebody who's tight, would have to do it this way. They're not going to be able to go down to where I was,
Yeah.
right? And be like this. Okay. So they start here. As you get better, we'll go lower. As you get better, I'll start moving further away. Now, the mat I have gives me what my number is. So the way you figure it out for you guys is just kneel down behind your foot. My back foot's like this. Stand up, lock your knees out, and push back, and make sure your hips are square. You don't want them turned sideways. You want them square, and then lean forward, pushing back. So that stretches that whole kinetic chain out, and just feels great for like people with back pain.
Yeah, that's why I said, "Oh my gosh," when I saw you do that. I can almost feel it. Yeah, because, I suffered from, and my grandmother she's dead now, but she lived to be 99 and a half, and she had sciatica. Sciatica has got to be one of the worst
Oh
pains
yeah.
to deal with. And
Yep.
when I started experiencing it, I bought something called the Sciatica Handbook and learned some stretches, and that changed
Yeah.
everything. And
Terraformis.
yeah, and I always wish that I lived closer to her to help her understand that instead of her just taking meds all the time, because that's what she ended up doing. And that's pretty sad, really, when it's just a
Yeah.
simple stretch that can change everything.
And what you got to learn is sometimes that one stretch is helping it, but your hips are rotated. Okay. That's what's causing that pinch in the back. But you start working the rotators of the hip, which is your piriformis. That's what they call it. And you start working that. There's different ways to go about strengthening it and lengthening it. So you play with both, because then once you have it where it's in a good position, then your back pain will dissipate. But what happens is you're compressed and rotated. That's usually what causes pain.
And is
Compressed and
that something that someone is born with, or does it happen because
no,
of just everyday movements?
everyday movements. I mean, maybe a car wreck or something jolted and pulled you out, and then you didn't know how to get back to where you need to be. But do you ever see a baby have problems squatting? Right? A
No.
baby sits there in a perfect squat and plays, right?
Yeah.
You take your average person in America, they can't squat past the toilet,
Oh my
right?
God.
Their
Yeah.
knees are locked up, their hips are locked up. But if
Uh-huh.
you look, you go to the Asian countries where they squat to go to the bathroom all the time,
I
they have no hip, knee, and ankle problems
Mhm.
because they do it every day. We don't go past the chair. So our hips are like locked up,
Yeah.
right? We sit, we don't do like squatting and working in the garden and things that are really going to open
Yeah.
you up.
Yeah.
So the less you move, the more issues you have. And people say sitting is the new smoking, but
Mhm.
standing isn't the fix for it. Because if you're compensating for something and you're standing, you're just going to compensate that way. And all of a sudden you're going to say, God, my ankle hurts or my right shoulder hurts because you're
Right.
standing in a position that, I mean, it's better that you're up and moving a little bit. But if you stand there for 8 hours, probably going to complain about some other issue that you're going to have.
Yeah, and I think that we as a society, like I hear it all the time, we become very used to saying, well, I have this, I have sciatica, I have this and this. So they've labeled themselves with I guess, chronic, like a disease that
Pain.
they have so that they can't get it better. So they actually, sometimes I can tell in the conversation that they actually believe that they're unable to fix it.
And sometimes they are because for example, I had back pain. I had a car wreck. So I went through that, broke my back, the whole thing. But I had back pain for like
When did
two
that happen?
years,
When did that happen?
college. So, like, right in the middle of my baseball, basketball, I played at USF. I had a car accident, had it hit head on, broke my back. I was out for like 6 months to a year, just trying to figure stuff out.
So
And
is that
then
what led you to want to do this?
No, I was an athlete and I wanted to figure out, how to help athletes. And I had a degree in kinesiology and I went and
Oh, so
talked to
you
the
already
second.
had, okay, you already had your degree. Okay.
No, I was in college at the time, but I
Okay,
was getting a degree in kinesiology.
gotcha.
And I went and talked to the Sacramento Kings trainer about how do I become, how do I train pro athletes? And he says, do you have CSCS, which is Certified Strength Conditioning Specialist? I said, no. I went to find out about it and I found out you need a 4-year degree to take the test. And so I started doing it. And then I started following up with the Giants, the A's, all the different teams to learn from their trainers. I would sit in and watch what they're doing. I would meet them at different events and say, can I come watch and pick up what you guys are teaching? So that's how I learned. I just sat with the best and I learned. And then all the physical therapy I went through, I've torn ligaments in my knee, broke my ankles both, broke my back, tore my rotator cuff, elbow injuries. So I've been through a lot of physical therapy.
And you look
And
like you
that's
could
when,
move just fine, just watching you.
oh, now I move like a 20-year-old. And I've had actually 2 hip replacements this year. So
What?
yes, because I have bone on bone. We used to squat, 400 pounds, deadlift 500 pounds, and
Oh my
just
God.
compress our bodies. So my hip was bone on bone, and there's nothing I can do to open it. It's just locked, right? So I
Wow.
had my first hip surgery last year in January. And then at the end of the year in December, I had the other one done. And I didn't even notice the pain in the left one until I had my right one done. I was like, no, doc, I won't be back. I'm fine. This one's fine. He goes, no, you're going to need that other one done too. And I'm like, no way, I'm fine. But after I had this one done, I was like, oh my God, this one freaking hurts. And I didn't even notice the pain because I was so used to pain on the other side. So your body just kind of gets used to the pain anyway. So now that I have them both done, I mean, I can do anything. And it's been 3 months now, 4 months now since
So,
it happened.
so what causes the bone on bone?
Compression. We used to do box jumping. We'd jump off 8-foot ladders, land on the ground and jump in the air. Back
Good Lord.
squatting, super
Okay.
heavy, compressing.
Was there something that you could have done back then while doing those things that would have prevented this?
Yes, that's exactly right. It's what I teach now. It's mobility and measurable mobility. So I know my metrics to how I move, how wide my feet are, how much I can rotate. I know how my body moves. And if I take 2 weeks off, I go back and I go, oh, I got to get those numbers better. But like you said, if I would have known this mobility back then, I would have squatted more. I would have moved well. I would have jumped higher. I would have done things that I was already doing really well, but
Mhm.
I could have done better because I would have been moving better.
Yeah.
And just to give you a story on this, so you guys understood, I didn't understand how much this was helping me until my son, he's 16 now. So 4 years ago, he was 12. After baseball practice, they were working out indoors. They go, hey, Papa, can we have a bench press contest? And I said, sure, with the bar. They just wanted to use the bar. So they got on there and the kids did 18. Then the high school kids jumped in and they did 38. Then the college kids jumped in and they did 78. Then they said, Bob, what can you do? And I'm like, oh man, I don't bench 315 anymore. I did about 104 when I was benching 315. So I was like, oh, 78 is going to be hard right now. So I'm thinking, geez, this is going to be hard. So I got on there and I'm like, okay, one time I got to make this. I got to beat these kids because, you know, they all look up to me. I got to beat these kids, right? So I get on there and I start going 75, 100, 150, 200. I did 200. So I'm not as strong, but I'm way more functional. Back in the day when I used to bench, I was like the bodybuilder with the rounded shoulders forward, like the buff guy. So I
Uh-huh.
felt that burn in my shoulders. Now I'm in a perfect position. So I didn't get tired. My triceps finally gave out. I didn't even feel it in my shoulders because I'm in a perfect position
Yeah.
where I wasn't back in the day. So when I left the gym, I'm like, oh my God, my routine's really working. So, you know, that was 4 years ago. And like I say, I get really great results because it's metrics based. You're not guessing. Not
Okay.
like yoga, do a downward dog, but where are your hands? Where are your feet? Like, where do I stand?
Yeah.
If I do the bands, how wide are my feet? Right. So, you know, I had a 39 physical therapists in a room teaching them the staggered stance mini band walk. And I said to them, you guys give me 3 patients out here. You all know how to do this, right? So they come out and I have them one box apart, basically. And I said, go ahead and start moving. So they have a light band, a medium band, and a heavy band. And I said to the other 36 therapists, what would you change about their movement? And the therapist started saying, put your feet wider, put your feet here, put your feet. So this is therapist to therapist. So how's a patient going to go home and do that properly, right? If the physical therapist is telling another physical therapist. So I flipped my mat over and I said, you're going to do 1 box, you're going to do 2 boxes, and you're going to do 3 boxes. And the girl I told 3 boxes had the heaviest band on. I did it on purpose. And I let them start moving. And then I said, hey, what would you change about their movement now? And they said, hey, she's got to move in 1 box. And I'm like, ding, 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 ding. Now we're speaking a language. It's like 5 sets of 5 at this weight, 225. It's not a guess, it's exact. So now they're moving properly and I don't have to teach them again. You figure out when you get to 3 boxes, oh, I can go up to the next band and then start over again at 1 box, 2 boxes, 3 boxes. It's just common sense. So yeah, one of my golf pros that I work with, I gave a seminar to his like 30 people and he called it like fitness for dummies. He's like, this is literally like, well, oh, put my feet at 1 box, now go to 2 boxes, now go to 3 boxes. So
But
anyone can
you've
do
got
this.
to train the brain because they've trained themselves to do it the wrong way, right? Without the boxes.
Right. Or they've never even done it. And
Right.
most have never done these simple exercises. I was fortunate to run into this guy, God, like 27 years ago, who was teaching this. It's called Egoscue. And I knew nothing about it. I happened to run into one of their therapists because my client said, hey, could you come with me? And while I was there, I said to him, hey, I have a hip problem right here. What would you do for me? And he goes, walk. So I walk, I come back. He goes, hey, do this exercise. Gives me like 6 exercises. I get up and the pain's gone. I'm like, what the heck did you just do to me? Then I was like, wow, that would be great for my athletes because when they come to me, if they have knee pain and I had the whole day set to jump, squat, box jump, all this stuff, what do I do with them? Now I had something to do with them. I literally can work with anyone now. Doesn't matter what their ailment is. I have something to do to help their posture get better. And it may not fix it right away. Sometimes we get lucky in one session. I call myself the one hit wonder, but I can get people to start moving better and
Mm.
their pain will dissipate immediately because the body knows this. We were all born with a mobile body. We
Mm.
all could squat when we were 8 months old, straight down perfectly
Right.
because we're super mobile, right? But as we get older, we move less or we move wrong or we add strength to more dysfunction and it leads to pain.
Add strength
So
to more dysfunction. Okay.
yeah. So if we can take the dysfunctions away, right? And those compensations are the reason you get the dysfunction. We take those away and you start feeling great. So your back pain goes away. And 8 out of 10 people have back pain nowadays in the US. 8 out of 10 have had back pain. So that's a super high number. And a lot of people go to pills or they try to go to physical therapy that helps them a little bit, but they're not sure, what's going to make them better. I was talking to the Texas Rangers baseball trainer, and he was telling me how many hip and groin strains they have. I mean, hamstring and groin strains. And I was like, how do you have hamstring strains nowadays when we know how to fix that? How you won't have that? There's a couple things to do to make that better. And at the highest level, they do not know it. You would think they would know it, but they do not. That's why they have these stupid injuries. One of the golf pros, Will Zalatoris, you guys will have to look him up if you don't follow golf.
I live on a golf course, but I only play golf when my daughter comes to visit. My 21-year-old comes to visit.
Oh,
Golf.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter's a golfer too, going to Cal next year, actually. So, long story short is if you have pain, right, you have to get your body to get rid of that rotation. And Will Zalatoris has a certain posture that he has that they need to fix. And the PGA guy came out to help him on the course during the round. And he started twisting him and torquing him. And then he lifted him and twisted. And Zach's like, oh, that's enough. And for me, watching that, what he was doing with him, I'm like, you never rotate somebody with back pain, ever. Chiropractors will try to crack them in, right? What moves the body? The muscles. You crack the bones, what pulls it out again? The muscles. So you have to work the muscles to get the bones to go into the position you want.
Yeah.
That's why I said I teach you guys how to be your own chiropractor, which helps your neck pain, which helps your back pain, which helps your hip pain, which
Mhm.
helps your knee pain. It's all connected, right? So
Yeah.
if I draw strings from your shoulders to your hips and I pull down on the right string, the left string is going to go up, right? The left shoulder is going to go up. If I pull down on the left, the right's going to go up. That's literally how the body moves. So
Yeah.
when we do these full body movements, like the wall windmill, the runner stretch, spread feet wide and rotate, we're working the full body and we're working T-spine, hips, knees, and ankles. So we're getting them all to move properly. And like I said, at the highest level, I'm still watching guys. That's why I'm trying to get to some of these teams to go in and consult and say, hey, use the tools. These guys should be laying on the block. These guys should be doing these banded exercises that are so simple, but they're not doing them. That's why they're getting injured. Baseball's a non-contact sport. Unless you slide into second to break your ankle or run into the wall, you should not get hurt in baseball. All the arm injuries, all the stuff that they're doing, hamstring, groins, they are training improperly. And there's imbalances in the body. And you got to
I have
get
a,
rid of the imbalances.
I have a friend that played professional baseball for 20 years. So he'd be a good connection for you, by the way, because he knows a lot of
That'd be
people.
awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm looking for that one connection because it's hard to get in unless you're a known guy that works with Tiger Woods. It's like, it's all hype. Some of these guys that are teaching that are top 5 coaches, when you listen to some of them, if you're an expert, you're like, oh God, I'd never do that. And he's the expert. And you're like, whoa. So I'm not mentioning any names of people, but yeah, I watch this all the time.
Yeah.
And people like on YouTube are following these people, like millions of followers, and they're teaching them things they should not be doing. That's going to
Mm.
actually hurt them. And it goes on all the time. People chase the shiny object.
Yeah. And some
what
of
I
them drop out. I know a good friend of mine, her nephew, Jeremy Hellickson, he played here in Florida. Anyway, I'm not a baseball person, can you tell? But I think that his really promising career was cut short because of an injury, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I'm almost sure. And I know that I hear that a lot. And so with
Yep.
someone like you, that you could save someone's career, right?
Yeah, well, like Will Zalatoris, if I actually could have helped him that day, I might have gotten lucky in about 5 minutes and helped him feel better to finish the round. And then
Mhm.
after we could have done some work, but he came out of the FedEx, he lost tens of millions of dollars on that one injury he had right there because he was at the FedEx Cup. It's the big event. So this goes on with high, and this is what flabbergasted me. You've got guys making 20 million a year, right? You think they'd want to keep those guys healthy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like a no-brainer for them to know some of the stuff I'm talking about. But I have 30 years of experience and I'm behind the scenes kind of guy. I just help, I help, I help. And I need the right contact to get to a known entity. I'm working on writing some books right now, 4 different books, one for corporate wellness, one for physical therapy, one for golf. And then the fourth one's going to be like your desk jockey, just sitting there. What do I do? You know
Desk
what I mean?
jockey. I
Yeah.
love that. I've
Yeah.
never heard that before. Is that term being used?
I don't know. I just
Or did
call
you
you
just
guys. You
make it
sit,
up? Make
made
it
it up.
up.
Yeah.
That's a good
You,
one
you
because
sit at a desk and you're a jockey, a desk
yeah,
jockey.
that's me, I think. Okay, so have you noticed, I'm sure you haven't, but maybe you have because you're in the industry. Like, have you noticed how many times I've repositioned myself?
Yeah.
I
Uh-huh.
do it all day long. And why? Because my lower back hurts. So as I will be sitting on I have to constantly move, but I'm moving because I'm uncomfortable. And so you could be a lot
You
of
want
help.
to, well, you want a better trick? I'll give you a fix to that right now.
Okay,
What am I sitting on?
a ball. I noticed that when I first started talking to you, it looked like you were bouncing.
Yeah.
Okay,
So now let me tell you
I
a story.
actually I do have
I,
that in my home in Des Moines, but not here in Naples. So I got to get another one. Okay.
I could sit here and not move, but my body actually is moving. And I know this because I know of I don't know what magazine it was in. I forget. Back in the day, it might have been Shape magazine, but I read an article that said these women for 6 weeks at an office sat on a ball. I don't know if it's 6 weeks or 12 weeks. They didn't change their diet. They didn't change anything they were doing. They sat on a ball for 8 hours a day at work. Okay. The average inches lost per waist was 4 to 6 inches.
By sitting on a ball.
Sitting on a ball because what are we doing? If I
Okay.
move back, see,
So
look at
okay.
this. Look at this. It on a slow motion camera, you're literally doing
Yeah.
this.
Just to
So
hold yourself up.
yeah, so your back's not going to lock up. And one of my tricks I teach my
Uh,
people is, hey, in between your next podcast, just roll down, open up, lay back, stay here for just a minute, let everything just open up the opposite way of what we were doing, sitting, and then come back up and go back to what you were doing. Right? If you did that 6 podcasts, 6 hours, you did that 6 times, at the end of the day, your body's not going to be locked up. Your
I'm
back's
gonna
not going to
try
be
it.
locked up.
I'm gonna
I
try it.
promise you, I sit on this every time I'm on a podcast. So if I'm on 3 or 4 in a day, I'm sitting on this and just keep moving. I get up, I do a couple stretches, showing them what to do. After I get off the podcast, I might go do some windmills over there. That's why I try to teach you guys it's about lifestyle. It's not about workout. It's not about, hey, I'm going to lose weight now and go on a diet. Anybody that tells me they're on a diet just tells me you're yo-yoing. If you tell me you're on a lifestyle change and I want to make a change, lifestyle, now we're going to make that change because it's little bits over time that makes the big change in 5 years.
Yes. Yes.
Big changes in 5 years. Now, just reverse that. So 5 years from now, you want to lose, just say 10 pounds. That's so simple, right? In 5 years, but it's hard in 5 weeks because you're changing all these things and it's getting to be overwhelming. You got work, you got kids, you got a husband, you got all this stuff. It always gets in the way. And so you have to find a way to change the lifestyle that you go, hey, I'm on a podcast. When I get off, I'm going to do the wall windmill. During the podcast, while I'm talking, I'm going to do sitting on the ball. But you start mixing these things into your lifestyle, and all of a sudden you start noticing in a few weeks or a few months, wow, the change is happening. and it wasn't difficult. One of my clients that I've had for, God, off and on for 10 years. This is a guy that I've tried to keep consistent. Okay. I've known him now for 20 years, but I told him, if you would have just tried to lose 1 pound a month for as long as I've known you, you would have lost 150 pounds. Right. But most people want to lose a pound a day or a pound a week like this,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're chasing the
Yeah.
rabbit. So they go look for the shiny object on YouTube or whatever, the new fad diet or the new pill or the new da da da.
Mhm.
You have to learn how to slowly get your metabolism to change by doing certain things.
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe squatting in place up and down 20 times or jumping 20 times, that's going to kickstart your metabolism. One set, get off this podcast, stand up and jump 10 times, high as you can, right? And then sit back down on the ball. That's going to change your metabolism because your body's going to have to adapt, and your legs are the biggest muscle in your body. So if you use them, they want to be fed. So that ups your metabolism. And when you do difficult exercises, right, your metabolism will stay up for 24 to 72 hours. If you do cardio, like walking for 30 minutes at the same pace, your metabolism will only stay up for 30 minutes when you finish. You understand the difference? This is why HIIT training has been a big thing over the last 10 years, is because it's ramping you up and taking you down, ramping you up and taking you down. So now your metabolism stays up for the 24 to 72 hours. So it's constantly burning. That's why those people will lose weight fast.
Yes. And you remember I told you in the beginning that I had this knee pain. So I did stop running. Well, that forced me to do other things. And I did notice that right away. Like I just felt different in a lot of ways. So HIIT training, which I think was spinning. Would you consider spinning class HIIT?
Yeah,
Okay.
because you're
Yeah.
sprinting, you're standing, you're sitting. Yeah.
You're doing a lot of different things and getting the heart rate way up and then way down. And I noticed that I got results like so fast in a fraction
Yeah.
of the time. And so I never really went back to running. So it ended up being a good thing after all.
Yeah. And your knee felt better too.
Yeah. Well, yes and no. Yeah. I've never gotten it to that pain, that as bad as it was, but they could be better. And so I've learned, and it's just too bad that so many doctors in all different facets can't explain what you just explained in one podcast episode. So where do people go to find, and there's something they could purchase, right? And start doing.
Yeah, it's bam-metrics.com, BAM-metrics, METRICS.com. And then you can go to shop. And the thing I tell everyone to start with is, because I have a few tools, but just get the mat, the blocks, and the bands. It's $200 you'll spend, but I'm telling you, you'll use this stuff. There's videos for it right there that you'll get. You follow these videos. It's super simple. And you get the bands, you get the blocks. So for all you guys, I lay on those blocks that are behind me, those red blocks over there. I lay on those every night, and it opens up my chest and shoulder for like 5 minutes, 7 minutes before I go to bed. So every night I put myself in a better posture, right? And what I try to teach you guys is, like I said, lifestyle change. Start mixing in a little bit. Do one video a day of the videos I give you. I give you like 13 videos, I think it is. But you just do one a day. Pick a different one, go to the next one. Pick a different one, go to the next one. But you will notice, I promise you, in the next 3 weeks, like, wow, I do feel different. I feel better. So yeah.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I can't wait because just like I said, this is a long day of podcast after podcast. I'm feeling it right in the middle of my back. And I do work out, but I will go because of traveling and so forth. I'll go for maybe 2 weeks without hardly getting anything in. And then when I start back up, I'll start to feel it. So anyway, the consistency is so important, but more importantly than that is what you've said. And that is you got to do the right things so that you're not, what I wrote down here, add strength to more dysfunction, which is what I've probably done in my life a lot.
Well, you're not the only one. Pro athletes are doing it every day. Okay.
Yeah.
I could go into a clubhouse and say, hey guys, show me a wall windmill. And I'd say nobody knows what it is. And that's flabbergasting to me.
I wrote
It's like,
down too. I'm going to do that as soon as I hit this button. I'm going to do a wall windmill.
And what you do is you put your feet, like I said, 1 box apart, 2 boxes apart, 3 boxes apart. So it looks like this. It's out of your way. up against the wall. So this is the one box. So I'm gliding, right? And
Mhm.
after I do 10 of those, then I'm going to go boom, wider. I do 10 more, and then I'm going to go wider. So you go as wide as you can, as long as everything's touching the wall and my toes are internally rotated. That's very important on this one. Toes internally rotated, because it gets your hip flex, my hips. When I go one way, it's internal, the other way, external. So when your toes are turned in, that's what really helps those hips lengthen out. And a lot of people will cramp back in their hip when they're doing that exercise because they've never done it. And they're like, oh my God, they haven't opened their feet that wide. So it's like, geez, but it's going to pull out that rotation and it's going to make you feel taller.
Yeah.
So many people I haven't seen in years that I see, they think I'm taller now, right? I just stand straight because everything I do is about length, right?
Mhm.
So my body, I'm not the bodybuilder that's over and buff. I'm taller and lengthened out, straight, and it just makes you feel better.
Awesome.
You'll get rid of those compensations and feel great.
Yeah. And I have noticed with age that I don't necessarily work out to look better as much as feel better.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it
I
too.
used to be motivated to work out to look a certain way. Now it's all about the way I feel. And mentally too, because your mind's got
Well,
to be in the game all the time in a business.
if you remember all the before and after pictures, I was the first guy to do it. That's me, the fat
Wow.
guy
I guess I
and the
didn't
ripped
notice
guy.
that. Oh my.
So I don't have this anywhere. This is just my card that I've had for
244, what does
years.
that say? 244 to 1684? I can't read that.
188,
88?
188.
Wow.
And I did it in 30 days. I mean, no, in 90 days.
I was
So
going to say, I
do,
want that plan.
do you remember Bill Phillips, Body for Life, that book?
Yeah.
That was a big weight loss book. I was in their contest to win $100,000. He actually kicked me out of the contest saying those pictures had to be digitized. You can't do it that fast, da 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 da. Because I was the first one at that time when all that stuff started. So they didn't know I gained that weight on purpose because I was fat in college. That when I broke my back, I gained 60 pounds in
Yeah.
college. So I went from the injured fat guy back to really in shape, but nobody believed me. So I actually gained that weight on purpose back to 244 to show people you could be fat or you can be ripped. And that was the point. And I became a spokesperson for Zenadrin, ProSource, the big supplement company, and battled with Bill Phillips, who had his own. They sued Zenadrin saying my pictures were digitized. And I had 50 people affidavit what I did because I drank 5 quarts of half and half for 7 weeks. Half and half. I drank 5 quarts a day to gain the weight. 5 quarts of half and half a
That's,
day
oh my
for
God.
7 weeks, 49 days. And then I reversed it and got ripped again. Just to show people, though, you can be fat, you can be thin. It's up to you based on your lifestyle. And like I've gotten older now, so it's not about being ripped, it's just about being healthy. And I've got kids and wife and work and all that stuff. That's why I always talk about lifestyle. So start with a little bit, and in time, you're working towards that ripped, in shape body that you want that feels good. We can all definitely do it. It's just a matter of consistency. And if you're 80% good, you can cheat on the other 20%. You don't have to stop drinking. You don't have to stop eating hamburgers. You don't have to stop eating pizza. It's just 80% of the time you're doing pretty well on what you're trying to do.
80/20
And
rule. There it is again.
it really works though. That's just life.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much. You've shared so much. I took some great notes. I'm going to add them to the show notes, and then say one more time where they go to purchase and get on board with this lifestyle change and workout or
So
move.
BAM dash metrics, metrics.com. And then go to shop and you'll see the mat blocks and bands. That's what I recommend. And then the videos are right there on the website. Tap on the videos and start watching one. Just go through it. I teach you how to foam roll, how to use the mat, how to do
Oh
the
my
wall
gosh.
windmill.
Yes.
It's all there. I
Super.
promise you guys will be super happy, especially if you do sports. You will
Yes.
notice it. I'm trying to get it into all the pro sports right now because I can't stand watching athletes get injured all the time. They shouldn't be injured with this time. I mean, they get paid $20 million a year to play baseball. They can spend some time doing the stuff I'm talking about and they will feel better. Not a
Yes.
question.
Yeah. I'll get in touch
So
with you about that. Okay. Okay.
yeah, that'd be great. Crystal,
Everybody,
thanks so much for having me on.
You're welcome. Go to the show notes and use what he's telling you right away because, like I said, Rich, Fit, and Happy, I changed the name to my podcast, my business for a reason because it's all connected. Without one, you don't have the other. Thanks again and have a great day. Bye-bye.